What do I want? I don't want the Rams to play nice. This is RamView.
It's hot out there, but it's blowing off the line of scrimmage. Headline,
Live from the Ram Cave, I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView, the May 5th, 2023 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident, need help, got questions, call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair, having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. So it's Friday, draft's over, free agency period's all wonky now. There's some guys being picked up here and there. And then, maybe June 1st, there's going to be a new sudden rash of free agents. And so I did get questions this week. And one of them was a bit of a snarky one. And it's like, Joe, what do you want? You're always bagging on Raheem Morris and the defense and such. It's like, Joe, what do you want? What do you want them to do? And I said, well, I can tell you what I want is I don't want the Rams playing nice. I don't want the defense we had last year. I'd rather see it get torched a few times, but stand up for itself. Well, what's that? What's the Shakespeare line, right? The coward dies 1,000 deaths, but the brave only one. And that's what I want. Basically what I want is this. I want Raheem Morris to sit across from whoever he's playing and tell them regarding his defense. I want Raheem Morris to say, "You're the weak, and I'm the tyranny of evil men," right? That's what I want them to say. I want them to look at every offense that comes their way and say, "You're the weak, and I'm the tyranny, or we're the tyranny of evil men." I don't want this here. We'll give you 8 yards. We'll give you 8 yards. We'll give you 8 yards. I'd much rather see the Rams come up, press, be physical, and hurt who they're playing. I know that's like so contrary to 2023, but that's how I feel about it. That's how I grew up as a fan. That's always been what football is to me. It is our version of rollerball. So busting out a couple of things here that just popped up in the news. It's kind of a free-flowing day today. The Rams now are up to 4 steals in this year's draft. I did mention last episode that it seems that everybody has drafted, right? Whether you're Jets, Packers, Panthers, Dolphins, someone gets somebody in the 3rd round, 5th round, 7th. Hey, this is the steal of the draft, right? And I've heard the Rams are now up to 4 through different blogs, posts, podcasts, TV shows. They're still showing Path to Draft on NFL Network this week. And Steve Avalos's 2nd round is a steal of the draft. Travius Hodges Tomlinson, he's the steal of the draft in the 6th round. Zach Evans, he's the steal of the draft. No, man, it's Puka Nacua. He's the next Cooper Kupp, right? I hope they're all steals in the draft, but honestly, folks, is everybody a steal in the draft, right? And if they're such steals, why didn't they go earlier? And it's the same thing I said about undrafted free agents. Oh, this is the undrafted free agent that's the steal of the whole draft season. They would have been drafted. And so I'm keeping track on it. Right now, the Rams have 4 steals in this year's draft. And the guy I think I might like the best, it might be Kobe the Conductor Turner. But we'll see. I'll love them all if they pan out. I'm not crazy about Stetson Bennett at 128, but if Stetson Bennett comes out and throws fire, then put me down as a Stetson Bennett fan. I just want to win. But I don't want to win playing nice. I want to win playing hard and physical. Speaking of hard and physical, Deebo Samuel I saw that pop up in my threads this week. Deebo Samuel's talking about how he hates the Eagles and he's hated the Rams. And I really don't care. Football players are supposed to really dislike the other team. It's too physical of a game to play patty cake in. It's too physical of a game to be worried about your friends. Now, you don't set out to hurt anybody, but it's a physical game. And I really don't care who your most hated team is. The most hated team is the one you're playing that week. And Deebo Samuel's talking about how he still hates the Rams and he hates the Eagles. And one of the things that I'm always amazed about, and I know it's generational, and I know this is Gran Torino, and I know this is get off my lawn, is soon as the final gun is sounded, everyone is best friends, hugging and exchanging jerseys as if it's some church softball game, right? And it's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I would figure, at least with me, I'd need about 15 minutes of decompression, 10 minutes of decompression. Let me go back into my locker room, be upset while we lost, get the word from the coach on why we lost, what we need to do, or why we won and what we need to do. And then after I decompress, then go out there and shake hands with somebody, swap jerseys and all that kind of stuff. I'm a lot like Captain Kirk in this situation, as I need my pain. And Michael Jordan, they made such a big deal about Michael Jordan, how he would manufacture reasons to feel dissed and take it out on teams. I don't know if that's that weird of an issue as we try to make it. I want to play with an edge, maybe not absolute pure fury and anger, but I want to play with an edge. And I know for me, anytime I've played ball at my minimal level, is that when somebody dismisses me, when somebody shakes their head at me, when somebody thinks, he's not all that, that's when I really focus in and play my best. And so I appreciate it when I'm not friends or tight or just buds with the dude on the other side of the field or across the court when I played basketball. So you got that out of me right now. This is Angry Joe Show today. Word came out, the numbers that the rookies drafted are going to be wearing. Steve Avila is wearing number 73. You say number 73, Rams offensive line. I think Charlie Cowan. All right. I'll go with that. Steve Avila, Charlie Cowan, number 73. Or, even though he wasn't offensive line, Jimmy Kennedy wore number 73. So that could be some bad mojo. Kobe Turner's wearing 91. At least that's what I saw. Kevin Green, Leonard Little, Greg Gaines. 91's a good number for the Rams. Byron Young's going to wear 0, which I don't think anyone's worn before. I'll check that. But no, I don't think no one has. That's right. Stetson Bennett's wearing 13. He could be Kurt Warner, or he could be the Wolf or Steve Bono, for all we know. Maybe Brock Berlin, right? Nick Hampton's going to be 31, and only comparable I had there was Adam Archuleta, who wasn't bad when he was with the Rams, got a big contract to go to the Redskins and died on the field. Well, I guess I can't say that. His career ended pretty much. Didn't do anything after that. Warren McClendon, 71, and the name that came to my head was Schiavelli, Joe Schiavelli, and maybe Reggie Doss. So, all right, I'll work with that. 87's been a bunch of guys. I guess I could look that one up. Puka Nakua is wearing 17. Robert Woods for a while. Donnie Avery. I don't know, go Donnie Avery. Tomlinson's wearing number 6. Ochaun Mathis, the guy in Nebraska, is wearing 32. I'm thinking Cullen Bryant. If you're thinking linebacker, Trayvon Howard. Howard did have the interception against the 49ers in the NFC title game. Zach Evans is wearing 21. I think Dave Elmendorf. Ethan, not Elmendorf. I think Nolan Cromwell. Ethan Evans is wearing 42. Then I think Dave Elmendorf. Evans is the punter. Ethan Evans is the punter. Jason Taylor, the safety, who's pretty close to being declared a steal in this draft, is wearing number 25. And I was thinking Jerry Gray. And DeJuan Johnson, he's wearing 94. I'm thinking Robert Quinn. And Robert Quinn gave the Rams 7 solid seasons. So I'm good with all that. And such. So really quick here, moving along, before we get to the break, I want to kind of break this down, talking about the Rams offensive line. And when you look and see who the Rams are playing, and we're gonna break that down here in a minute. When you look and see who the Rams are playing this year and what they're doing and how young they are on defense, that you get the feeling they're going to want to run the ball. And the running back room is a little bit deeper right now with the steal of the draft, Zach Evans, and of course Kyrene Williams and Cam Akers, who has been reported will still be under Ram control after this season, which isn't so bad. I'm for just giving him 300 carries and pounding him into the dirt and then drafting another guy. But running the ball really seems like that's going to be part of the Rams offense this year, and I hope so. But if you remember, at the end of 2021, the Rams guards were David Edwards and Austin Corbett, both gone now. And the Rams were having a hard time getting a push. Those were competent guards good enough, obviously, to win a Super Bowl with, but they weren't real physical, big, nasty guys. And that's what the word is on Avila right now, is that Steve Avila is a nasty guy. And you always want that, right? You want these guys that are, you want Richie Incognito under control a little bit, right? You want somebody who's going to battle. And I never viewed Edwards and Corbett as with confidence when the Rams went for it on fourth down. But you see what the Rams are doing, and maybe they're going to get a little more physical along the front, and that's a good thing. And so I thought it'd be cool to look at the Rams offensive line from centers to guards to tackles, and let's take a peek at that right now. Right now, you've got Brian Allen, Coleman Shelton, Steve Avila, who played center for 2 years in college, moved to guard last year, excelled at both. And then undrafted free agent signing, Mike McAllister. I think McAllister is the Youngstown State guy. So if he's from Youngstown State, that means he probably knows how to work hard. But you look at those guys, and Coleman Shelton's done a great job at right guard and at center. He's physical. People like him. Brian Allen, guys, he was a top 8, top 9 Pro Bowl center for the Rams in 2021 who got derailed. Now, he's making good money for a center for the Rams this year. Could he be a post-June 1st cut? Yeah, he could be. He could be a post-June 1st cut, but I'd like to see the Rams hang on to him and the depth that would provide. Brian Allen, Coleman Shelton, Mike McAllister is going to be a practice squad guy if he sticks. And then have Avila, the guy for the future. And I think we didn't call it. Most people said it. When they looked at Avila, you saw that he had played center in college. He could be the Rams' long-term answer at center. More than a few people said that. So why not let Brian Allen finish his shift and then move Avila over to center? And this way you keep depth. Brian Allen is a quality player. Shelton's proven to be a quality player. Avila is expected to be a quality player. And this way you go 3 deep at the center spot if you need be. Sliding over to guard, right now, pre-Avila, you got Coleman Shelton at right guard and possibly Alaric Jackson at left guard. There's been talk about flip-flopping Alaric Jackson to left tackle and Joseph Noteboom to left guard. But let's just work off what was working last year when the Rams might have had some of their best work done. Is Alaric Jackson shined at guard as well as tackle. It's very versatile. But you could go Coleman Shelton and Alaric Jackson. I have to believe Avila is going to be starting in there somewhere, right? You have to believe that. You don't draft him that high. It would almost be a disappointment if he wasn't starting. And then again, what does that do? Is that gives the Rams some depth pieces in terms of Alaric Jackson. Also at right guard, you'll have Coleman Shelton. You got Logan Bruss. Maybe not Shelton. Maybe Alaric Jackson takes right guard because he's shown his flexibility. And then the Rams, of course, are coming back with Tremaine Ankrum. They had Zachary Thomas on the roster. He's practice squad guy. They signed Sean McGinn and Grant Miller to undrafted free agents. The Rams picked up McGinn is from Wake Forest and Grant Miller is from Baylor. I can't see them because of the depth the Rams have right now. I can't see them making any active roster unless there's a disaster. Tremaine Ankrum and Logan Bruss are kind of interesting in this situation. I think one of them will make the team. I think the Rams will carry 4 guards. The other one might have to pass through waivers. And, Akrum's kind of unfortunate because of injury, missed his shot. And the Rams just drafted Logan Bruss. He's a Wisconsin guy, and you got to figure he's going to be physical as well. Then you move over to tackle. And also, tackle is another place where you have Alaric Jackson in flexibility, of course. Havenstein was solid again at right tackle. The Rams got him under contract, I think, for another couple of years. We'll look at that. And he's going into what would be his 9th season. You appreciate Rob Havenstein at right tackle. Left tackle, I still have to believe it's going to be Joseph Noteboom, unless there's something where he hasn't fully recovered, and then Alaric Jackson takes the job. But the goal here is going to be Noteboom, who prior to the rough start last year didn't really get a chance to settle in because he's playing left tackle, and every week there's a new left guard. Remember, David Edwards kept going out with his concussions, and next thing you know, Matt Skura's there, and everyone else is in and out of the lineup. But maybe if there's some stability at left guard, maybe if he's got an anchor on his right hand in Steve Avila, then Noteboom settles in. They're paying him that kind of money. He better settle in. So Havenstein at one bookend, Joseph Noteboom at the other. You still have Alaric Jackson, who can play swing tackle both sides. This guy out of Iowa, Alaric Jackson's a real blessing for the Rams. And then they drafted Warren McClendon. Warren McClendon Jr. Looks like, to me, if Noteboom pans out, Warren McClendon Jr. looks like the eventual replacement for Rob Havenstein. And, of course, we'll see how all that goes. But it is something to keep an eye on. A.J. Akiri out of Michigan State, 7th rounder last year. He got playing time. I don't really think they think he's ready. He's practice squad guy if he makes it through again. But there's a lot of depth. I'd love to see the Rams find a way to keep Allen, Shelton, Jackson, Avila, Bruss, Havenstein, Noteboom, McClendon, and maybe even Anchor. I'd love to see them keep all on the offensive line after last year. So the Rams do have depth on this offensive line. I thought they had enough going into the season without even drafting anybody that high, but they invested some capital in Avila and McClendon. So I think the Rams are going to be solid on the offensive line. Are we looking at the 76 Cardinals that gave up 8 sacks? No. Are we looking at the Rams offensive lines from 66 through 89, where you got Mack, Hara, Iman, Saul, Doug Smith, Jackie Slater, Doug France, all those guys, John Wood? No, you're probably not looking at that. I didn't even mention Shabelli and Cowan. But you're looking at a competent offensive line, with the exception of Andrew Whitworth not being there, more than good enough to get you to the playoffs. And so that's something to keep an eye on, encouraging thing to keep an eye on. Hey, real quick here, I think I want to take a break at the 18-minute mark. I'm Joe Tarosian, and this is RamView. And I was a sports writer for 21 years. Now I do RamView. Picked up some sponsors. We want to thank Kistler Law Firm and Temple City Auto Repair. So I do RamView and I write books. I was one of the founding members at Mid-Valley Sports. I moved on. Dwayne and Tim and those guys, they cover the Chargers now. They're in the room at Mid-Valley Sports, so good for them. And we might have some interaction with them down the road. And I do this, and like I said, my books are on Amazon. Look up Joe Tarosian, and you can probably find my books there, and as well as this RamView. This is what I do for a day job. To support my day job. My day job is I pastor a small church in Burbank called Burbank Faith Naz, and right here on YouTube channel, Burbank Faith Virtual. And that's what I do. And this is what's my side hustle. Some guys have to drive Uber. I get to talk sports and write. So I'm very, very blessed. So, okay, let's get that commercial. That commercial is in. Real quick, some news around the NFL. The Rams did sign Brett Rippon. He is the nephew of Mark Rippon, Super Bowl winning quarterback with the Washington Redskins back in the day. Mark Rippon also had 2 stints with the Rams in 95 and 97 at the end of his career, and played in a couple Pro Bowls. Brett, Not so much. He was been with the Broncos. Another former Bronco that the Bengals signed recently is Trevor Siemian. Now, Trevor Siemian's interesting. He was actually on the 2015 Super Bowl winning team. I think he got a ring. I don't think he played. 7th round, 250 out of Northwestern. Okay, that's where he was taken. And Trevor Siemian, in the last 7-8 years, has played for the Broncos, Vikings, Jets, Titans, Saints, Bears, Bengals. He's been in 35 games, 30 career starts. He's made just about 10 rocks just playing in just 30 games in 7 years, right? What a living, man. If I could start all over again, I'd want to be a backup quarterback or even a third string quarterback that just has the hat on and has a Chase Daniel type career where I make $41 million hardly playing. I mean, you get to be in the NFL. You got the best seat in the house to watch the games. You get to play a little bit. You don't get banged around. You get your pension, and then someone's going to hire you as an expert giving an analysis and quarterback analysis down the road. Man, you can think it all over again. That's what I want to be. Getting back to around the NFL and some stuff. The NFL schedule is supposed to be released next Thursday. It's May 11th. That's not definite. There's been reports. I think it's going to happen. And that's what's critical is because we know who the Rams are playing. We just don't know what order they're playing. And that's the critical part. You know, it goes to, you're going to play in Lambeau. Wouldn't you rather play in Lambeau in September than Lambeau in December, right? We understand how that works. So one of the divisions on the Rams docket this year is the NFC East. So along with the 6 NFC West games the Rams will get, they get the Cowboys, the Taxskins, the Giants, and the Eagles. And they get the Taxskins and Eagles at home and are on the road for the Giants and the Cowboys. And when you were, again, we have done the breakdown of, you know, best case scenario for the Rams is they finish 7-10. No, I'm sorry, 10-7. That's the best case scenario. Everyone stays healthy. They get a few breaks. They finish 10-7. Third place, maybe in the NFC West, if the 49ers or Seahawks don't torch themselves, and they're vying for a wild card spot. Third place teams often go to the playoffs. So that's cool. They're playing for something. Worst case scenario is they go 7-10. And that means that the defense is not the tyranny of evil men. And I don't think the defense is going to be the tyranny of evil men, but we can hope for it. That's what I want them to say. So on this list, the Rams do go to Irving. They play the Cowboys. And yeah, it's always tough to play because everyone wants the Cowboys to do good, but do well. But the Cowboys are limited offensively. We can talk about their defense here in a second. But they're limited offensively. Everyone knows and does not fear Dak Prescott. There is nothing that Dak Prescott has demonstrated that makes you go, oh, man, we got to face Dak Prescott, right? Nothing. Plus, Kellen Moore is gone now. He's calling plays for the Chargers. Mike McCarthy, as the HC, will now be calling plays for the Cowboys. And, you know, they've had clock management issues and everything in the past. And I'm not saying McCarthy's going to be bad, but we know he's not going to be Kellen Moore. Also at running back, Tony Pollard is the guy now. I think they franchise tagged him, so he's getting 10 rocks. But they let Zeke go. And instead of rotating with a less than dominant but competent Zeke Elliott, the Cowboys' next guy up is Rojo, Ronald Jones, who's, you know, he was in Tampa Bay, went to KC. He's kind of bounced around a little bit. And so a lot of pressure is going to be on Pollard. He's going to probably be taking more hits. And so this offense doesn't look as devastating. Brandon Cooks, good, but I don't know if he's putting the fear of God in you. And then CeeDee Lamb, he's fragile, good player, but fragile. And then Gallup, who did not have a great year last year. Oh, someone's sending me a complaint here. Okay. Yeah, I'll get to it, Chief. So that's the Cowboys offense. Defensively, they had some vulnerability against the rush. They were 21st overall stopping the run. They addressed that in the draft with Michigan's Maisie Smith in the first round. I don't know, or Mozzie Smith. I don't know if that's going to solve everything. And I think one of the mistakes people make when they look at the Cowboys is this belief that Trayvon Diggs is an elite corner. Trayvon Diggs is more of a present-day version of Janoris Jenkins or Jackrabbit Jenkins. He is feast or famine. Yeah, he does make a lot of plays, but he gets torched quite a bit. And that's why, they got Stephon Gilmore now on the other side, so that really helps them out. But the key to this team is its pass rush, and D-Law on one side and Parsons on the other. And so that's where the Cowboys get scary. Could the Rams go to Irving and pull off a win? Yeah, I think the Rams could go to Irving and pull off a win. When you get to the Taxkins, the problem with that team in Washington, besides its name, is it's the offense, right? The defense was 12th overall last year, and that is better than that. It just didn't have some great moments, and it figures to be better. They took Emmanuel Forbes, 16th overall. I thought that was a little high. So it figures to be better. The offensive line is competent. The running backs, Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson Jr., the guy that got shot in the preseason and came back and played well. They have the run game covered. And what's not to like about Terry McLaurin at receiver? So they have all those things. But where the the Taxkins suffer is they don't have a quarterback, right? Are they really depending on Sam Howell to be this diamond in the rough, this ready to break through? If that's what they're doing, this isn't a serious team. Backing him up is Jacoby Brissett. We know what Jacoby Brissett is. Where are we at now with Jacoby Brissett? New England, Indianapolis, Miami, Cleveland, and now Washington. We know what Jacoby Brissett is. And old Georgia guy, Jake Fromm. I mean, let's be real. I mean, they're depending on Sam Howell. I mean, I think they might get more clicks out of Thurston Howell. And so that's something to consider when you look at Washington. This is not a serious team if that's what they're going to run out there at quarterback. And I have to believe the Rams could win this game at home against this club. They could win this game. They're at the Meadowlands to play the Giants. Again, we don't know what time of year these games are going to play. If the skill players are healthy for the Giants and Daniel Jones remains confident, the offense is going to be serviceable. And defensively, they're okay up the middle, and they drafted for the edge. Some people like Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't know. Some about Kayvon Thibodeau I don't trust. I think he's just a little too pretty boy for me. I don't really think he's gritty enough. He does make plays. He's a heck of a talent. But by and large, this Giants back seven is brutal. They did draft Deonte Banks out of Maryland at number 24 to play corner. But the key with the Giants is Brian Daboll. He's a really good coach. And I think they went to the playoffs 1 year sooner than they thought they'd go. So I figure they're going to be better. Could the Rams win this game? Yeah, the Rams could win this game. They've won there before. Also, you remember it was in New York, although at the different stadium. Everett hit Flipper for that win in overtime again in the playoffs. So, yeah, this team can win. And then, of course, the other game they get at SoFi against the NFC East is against the Eagles. And again, this game kind of depends on when it's played and how it's held and how healthy Philly is, because that's the only thing I could see standing in the way of the Rams not getting a big fat L. Right, that game looks like a big fat L right now. To be honest, right here, if I said the optimistic end of the Rams in their division is maybe splitting with the 49ers and Seahawks and taking 2 from the Cardinals, that's 4 wins. I could see the Rams splitting with the NFC East and getting up to 6 wins. Things go well, they could get 3. I don't see them beating Philly. Again, what time of year is this game going to be played? All right. Off-season workouts begin May 22nd, May 25th, May 30th. Mandatory minicamp is June 13th and 15th for the Rams. Okay, real quick before we get out of here. This is Henry Childs Day, 1981. On this day in 1981, the Rams traded the number 61 and number 172 overall picks to the Washington Redskins for tight end Henry Childs, who had been dealt earlier that spring from the Saints to the Redskins for a third-round draft pick. Number 61 overall in 1981 was a third-round pick. Number 172 overall in that same year was a seventh-round pick. Now, those picks would be second and fifth-round choices for a tight end very late in his career. Henry Childs, 6'2", 223, was originally drafted by the Falcons in 1974 out of Kansas State. And he played 9 years in the NFL, 6 as a starter for the Saints. And he had a really nice career, made a Pro Bowl, pair of 50-catch seasons, which was a big deal in the 70s when your tight end's catching 50 passes. And he averaged 15 yards a catch. I mean, in his prime, he was a pretty good tight end just in 1981. And this is after Don Klosterman had not been shown the door, but was told not to come out of his office. The Rams made this deal. I believe this was a John Shaw special. And so, they made this move. And if you think about Ram history, after Billy Truex was gone, from 69 through 76, the Rams tight end position was held down by Bob Klein and Pat Curran. Terry Nelson took over in 77 and was backed up by former Pro Bowler Charlie Young. In early 80, Nelson went down. Victor Hicks and Walt Arnold managed it. So the Rams were looking for help in 81, and they made a deal for a pretty much a washed Henry Childs. And he played 7 games for them that year, caught 12 passes, and 1 for a touchdown before hurting his Achilles in a loss to Dallas. The following season, he was released in August of 1982. Childs died in 2016 of a heart attack at the age of 65. And again, I bring this up. Now, those draft picks didn't amount to anything because the Redskins squandered them. But when you look at what the Rams were trying to do, it was just one bad trade after another until John Robinson got in the room in 83. And you could see that 83 draft. We've talked about how that really turned things around for the Rams in that decade. But yeah, just bad choices. They spent that capital for Henry Childs. They spent all that capital for Burt Jones in 82. And they just made a whole series of poor choices. But it's a shame. Didn't work out for Henry Childs because he was a quality tight end. And maybe if he could have put together 2, 3, 4 years for the Rams, maybe his career would have been better remembered. He labored. You labor in New Orleans in the mid-'70s. Yeah, outside of Archie Manning, you're going to be forgotten. And that's a real tragedy. And I just wanted to mention Henry Childs' name because he was a very, very good tight end. Okay, got that out of the way. Hey, I just want to say thank you for those that have clicked on. Our numbers have kind of slightly gone up on Spotify, but if you can follow us on Spotify, that would be great. To those that are watching us and supporting us, we do say thank you. And just that we're going to do Ram Talk. And one of the things I just want people to know too is when we're doing Ram Talk, we're talking about the Rams. We're talking about the NFL. And we're just giving opinion, and I'll share it. Like I said, I got 21 years as a paid sports writer. I'm not shy about giving an opinion, and neither should you. Give your opinion, whether right or wrong. Give your opinion. The only thing you don't have to accept are 2 things. One, someone telling you to shut up because you don't know what the coaches know, or you don't know better. No, you have an opinion. I read this thing. I was reminded of this thing that Orwell said in 1984: is the state wants you not to believe what your eyes and ears see and hear. And as Ram fans, you saw a defense last year that was really passive. As Ram fans, you've seen them make crazy moves. You've seen them, and it's okay to talk about it because the McSneed group, no matter how wonderful they are not perfect. That's why we're fans. So, but the one thing I won't do, which the bait was kind of laid out there for me in a text, is I don't want to bash on other podcasts because my podcast and this thing is so easy to bash on too. I don't want to bash on anybody. If I feel like somebody's really egregiously wrong, I'll mention it, but I'm not going to mention who did it. That's the last thing I want to do. I'd much rather be part of the community than ostracized from the community of content people talking Ram football or any in the NFL. All right, cool. I think we're good. Thank you, whoever's leave comments, hit like, subscribe in the algorithm, and build the footprint here on on RamView. All right, folks. God bless. Have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday, and we will. Oh, thank you to our sponsors, Kistler Law, and again, Temple City Auto Repair. And thank you to those folks for supporting us. All right. God bless. Take care. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't do this. What kind of show was it?
It was a Stone Groove, my man.
There we go. That was another thing. I don't hit Stone Groove enough. So wanted to get that in. Hey, who's watching me? My numbers went up. I played Stone Groove, and now I got 3 followers. Folks, I got to go. My live audience just came back. What am I going to be talking about in the future? Okay. What am I going to be talking about in the future? I am going to be talking all the positions that they have, who's in the room, and then again, giving thoughts on what they should do, who they should cut, who they should keep, and go from there. I almost hate go away. If somebody's out there watching and you have a question, throw it at me, but I've got to go. I'm so sorry. Thank you for being a live audience. God bless. Take care. Catch us on Facebook, Twitter, and again, follow us on Spotify. I'm Joe Tarosian, and this has been RamView.